Hi, thanks for visiting my YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to take a look at an investor targeting exercise for a net zero real estate fund. So this presentation includes a detailed investment targeting exercise for a client that's looking to raise capital and utilize my institutional investor databases. Now, this is a service that I offer for clients before they invest in a database, whether from me or whether from someone else, because it helps really let them understand what the universe is for their particular raise. Now, the typical price for this initial targeting is between $95 and $150 depending on the scope. And in this video, I'm going to show you what's involved in that. It's going to include the spreadsheet and it's going to include the audit. So let's get started. So for this opportunity, it is a $10 million preferred equity raise into a vertically integrated net zero developer. The fund acquires distressed assets, develops them, value add, and holds them to cash flow under a build for rent strategy. Now, one, it's preferred equity, so they offer 18% preferred equity paid quarterly, plus a 20% profit participation. Asset backed, it's secured by GP interests across the sponsor's SPVs, and it's a Reg D 506C, $50,000 minimum, 2-year hold. So basically what you're going to see when the spreadsheet comes up is how I've used AI to do the screening. Now, you can do this using Excel, but using a premium AI agent is the best way, and it's something that works really well. So basically it's ranked on real estate appetite. Now, I've used the global family investment offices for this. There's 4,837 of them in my database. And they're scored on direct, private, and joint venture real estate appetite with value add and distressed strategies weighted highest and net zero alignment as the tiebreaker. So tier one, the best fit, there were 1,530 of them. So that was a fantastic result. Now they're active in direct or value add distressed real estate, the buyers who do this type of deal. 227 are ESG aligned, so it's carry clean energy or sustainability alignment that matches the fund's net zero positioning. And 962 have named contacts. Now that's one of the beauties of my database, and I update these every few months and I get them cleaned by premium email verification firms. So these are tier one firms resolving to a named decision maker with verified contact details on file. So you can see by using the two tiers there, we're ending up with a pretty good mix of contacts. So who to approach? Where the capital lives. Now, the best fit investors are family offices that already deploy directly into property and run the value add distressed acquisition model the sponsor uses, led by the names below. So it's basically, I look for value add and distressed. I look for US and direct investors mainly, and ESG and impact capital, because those are the really key decisions that ended up putting those particular contacts into the final database. Okay, so as part of the audit, you're going to get a Word document, generally anywhere from 6 to 10 pages, depending on how many databases you've asked me to screen. Again, that all starts off with the price anywhere from $75 to $150. Now, you're also going to get the Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to show you that coming up a little bit. But basically what the Word document does is just explain the process, gives you an executive summary, a little bit about the positioning, how the tiers were developed and how many ended up being selected. In some cases, there are parts of the database that don't include information on what the investor is looking at, and we may or may not include those as part of the report, but they certainly don't end up as a tier one look. And that's why you can see here we've got tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Now, in many cases, we like to use tier 4 as more research that you would look at. For example, right off the bat, there's about 1,530 firms that would be perfect for this real estate opportunity. And then you see for tier 2, declared real estate allocator via funds, there's about 880. And then third tier is private equity or infrastructure allocator. And then the last one is undisclosed. So it really depends on if you want to go after them all as part of your outsourcing. It just would mean that probably tier 3 and tier 4 need a little bit more work as far as how your letter should be structured for them, because you can't assume they're interested in real estate funds. And then you've got some best suited firms. Now, these are just some of the key firms that were listed, and it shows the real estate focus, the theme, country, and assets under management. Then the last part is the priority contacts. Now, what I've done is I've blanked out the emails for these just for confidentiality reasons, but they are definitely part of the final output. And then how to use the list as well, some caveats. So that would be a typical audit. Now let's take a look at what the spreadsheet looks like. Okay, lastly, here is the Excel sheet that would be delivered as part of the assignment. And then the client would be able to then decide whether they wanted to invest in this database, or maybe they come to me and say, listen, I've been looking at particular databases from other people and wanted to maybe use mine as a comparison. Now, a lot of people who provide databases will not be able to provide this service, but at least it gives them a bit of an idea of what their potential target audience is. And you can see here I've used this Score Universe, 4,837 global family offices. Again, they're all been updated and have key contacts. And then Tier 1 is Active Direct. Now, Tier 2 is Real Estate Allocator Fund. Tier 3 is Private Equity Infrastructure. And Tier 4 was the Undisclosed Sector, so you can see that. And then, of course, here's some added items that were put into the artificial intelligence agent as far as to do some selecting. Why family offices fit this offering? Well, direct real estate is a core territory, value add, income and upside profile, and ESG net zero overlay is important. It also has some scoring. For example, real estate core had a maximum 46. That means they actually in the database itself declared real estate investing. And then we have some theme tiebreakers here. We have ESG, clean energy, and so on. So there's a fair bit of screening that gets involved. Now let's take a look at what the full screened list looked like. So this is the entire database. You can see over here on the left-hand side, I've got a bunch of rankings and theme scores. So if we scroll down to the very bottom, you can see we've got about 4,837. And what happens is as we scroll down to the bottom, you can see there's some fields here that are empty. That generally means that it's going to have a lower importance score. You get up to the top here, you can see that you're getting into the 70s and 80s, which are really, 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 really high quality contacts. And for this, you're going to get the name, segment, focus category, theme. So this is the entire database here. We scroll over to the right hand side again, you can see the core strategies listed. You've got US focused, and of course it's all yes here. Got the contact name, and we've hidden some of the fields here for confidentiality reasons, and you've got their contact email and their telephone number. Now let's take a look at the tier 1 priority. If you only wanted to go after the tier 1 contacts, again, we scroll down to the bottom here and you can see that we've got about 1,530 that you could go after, but probably there's about 900 or 1,000 that would be considered very, very high quality targets on those. And again, the same information. We've got the contact details, their roles, and their email address. And then, of course, the undisclosed, a little bit less. These are ones that you may or may not want to go out to. Certainly, they would not be approached first. What I would actually do is I would do more research on these because basically these are ones that don't have a category disclosed. It doesn't mean that they're not interested in real estate, or it doesn't mean that they wouldn't be interested in clean energy, ESG. It just basically means we don't know and it needs a little bit more research. So that is the typical type of report that I can generate for clients who are looking for information on whether my databases are going to be suitable or whether they just want to get a bit of an idea of what the potential target universe is. Keep in mind that my databases are institutional grade. They're at the high quality of some of the large name databases you're going to find out there. This just gives you a starting point to decide whether you want to invest a lot of money. Some of these institutional databases get into the 30, 40, 50, $60,000 range. Obviously mine are much more targeted and smaller. You don't have to buy the entire database. So that's something that's important to keep in mind if as you're looking to start your investment opportunity outreach. So this is a key database disclosure. I like to add it to all my videos that include database information. Firstly, data sourcing. This database blends leading institutional data, public records, and real-world intelligence from past fundraising mandates, providing a deep pool of verified contacts. Keep in mind, all these contacts are verified and they're all updated. These databases are not to be used for spamming, they're for targeted outreach. One, accuracy and currency. This are primarily updated in 2025 and 2026. Contact roles and investment sentiments naturally evolve. Results are not guaranteed. Data is best leveraged by organizations with dedicated teams. Now, it's also important to know that most firms, like family offices, don't change their thesis on what they're looking for. So even at 2025, this is probably going to run you all the way to about 2027, 2028 in some cases. Verification notice. Family office affiliation is an estimate derived from signal inference and historical context and cannot be 100% verified. Data is a foundation for outreach, not a guarantee of outcome. So another notice, this is strictly for corporate or institutional grade groups only, no personal sales. For more information on this database, click the link in the description below, and that's at dubaiinvestorslist.com. Please like, share, and subscribe.